welcome to the Crypto Jungle. My name is Blue the Bear, and here on the channel I keep crypto simple. We look at the price in the context of volume using the Wyckoff method. If that is something that interests you, then why don't you hit the subscribe button. I do this every Monday and Friday lately, trying to do new content 3 days a week, but yeah, the market is at an inflection point, so we need to make up a decision, and it's looking good for Bitcoin. We have a bullish consolidation, or we have a consolidation that is breaking bullish on the lower time frames. We'll dissect that. I also want to talk about more Bitcoin adoption. We're seeing some more onboarding of the Lightning Network in South America. Just a small story, not as big as El Salvador announcing legal tender, but still nonetheless a very good story that we will cover as well. We're a few moments from the daily close. What are we? Just a few seconds from the daily close, and the daily close is looking pretty good. All right, so good morning if it's morning to you, good afternoon if it's the afternoon, and good evening. I really like waking up in Asia lately because of the fact that I get the daily close in the morning. I don't have to wait around. I just get the daily close right in the morning, which is great. But I am heading back to North America in November, so yeah, I'll be in LA till December, November to December. All right, let's jump right into it. So I'm actually going to start out on a small time frame today and kind of just talk about bull flags, and just consolidations in general. Okay, so we had this very powerful move. Let's actually go to the 4 hour so you can see what I'm talking about here. And let's just look at price action. We don't need all that noise. But basically, we had a downsloping line of resistance, and we broke out of that. When you have a long extension and then a consolidation, that's often referred to as a bull flag. A bull flag has the flagpole and then the consolidation at the top. So a lot of people, especially when they're new to technical analysis and new to understanding markets and trying to predict what happens next, they often fall into the trap that thinking that technical analysis is some sort of crystal ball, and it's really not. It's just a way for you to react. It's a way for you to understand where we are in a market cycle, and it's a way for you to position accordingly. So when you're looking at this flag formation where you have an extension and then a consolidation, basically what that is telling you is the market saw a price appreciation and we're trying to make a decision. Are we going up or are we going down? So until the decision is made, there's really no actionable event because the consolidation will just continue. When a bull flag breaks down, the market calls that a Bart Simpson pattern, and when a bull flag breaks up, it's a bull flag. But we can go ahead and take a look at the smaller time frames and dissect this from a Wyckoff perspective so that you can see what I'm seeing. And we can look for a few of these different signals. So I have this labeled. I don't usually do too many labels because I don't really need the labels for myself. I can just identify the price action and label it in my head. But I've gone ahead and placed chat's working there, Carbonesque. I've gone ahead and placed some labels here. So we have the preliminary supply. That's where the price starts to slow down, and then that kind of kicks off the consolidation. So we're trading back and forth inside of a consolidation. We were underneath a resistance. We actually had an up thrust that got above the resistance and we were rejected. We came down to the rejection point where we tested another level successfully. We broke below that resistance and got what's called a spring. Now a spring is a very bullish signal in any consolidation, whether it's a small time frame or a high time frame. The spring is really important because it's identifying a direction. So you break through a support, you break through a level of support, and then it gets bought back up. Now once it gets bought back up, it tells the market that we're bullish, and you get a few green candles after that into your sign of strength, your signal of strength. So this is looking like it wants to break out here. If we can get a break above the new local high at around 49.5, we'll call it 49.5. We have a lot of psychological resistance at 50,000. So I think, it'll probably be better for us to assume that a break past 50 is going to be a break that sticks. So if Bitcoin can break past 60, which it's looking like it has the potential follow through currently, then we're probably going to, not take much time to get up to 56 and break past the local high. So things are looking decent in the short term on the small time frames, and that's looking very good on the on the higher time frames as well. I'm actually going to get rid of these labels because I don't usually put labels on the small time frames. And then we will talk about today's news. Okay, and now let's go to the daily. Let's take a look at our daily close. Okay, so we got a new close past the last high. So this high right here, let me just grab my pen tool. So this was the last high on the daily, and now we have a new candle that is higher than this level. That's a very good thing. That's a bullish thing that we want to see when we are trying to build the bull case that the trend is changing in our favor, that the trend is flipping to the upside. So we can actually drag that down. So we got our close, nice breakout. Now, usually when you break out of a level, you're going to come back down and test. So it's not going to be a shock at all if we come down and test 48.3, maybe even come down and test somewhere in the 47 or 48 flat, somewhere in that area. Very, very healthy test. You know, watch the 4 hour, watch those closes, make sure that we're closing above that level so that we don't get what could look at like a upthrust. But things are looking good on the daily. We're beginning to change that trend. We need to continue this trend. I would like to see a break past 52.7. Once we get past 52.7, it's going to be kind of hard to argue that we don't have a local break of the trend here. Now, some people may be trying to front run certain patterns, saying, hey, we have, you know, a head and shoulders forming. You'll probably hear that a lot, saying that we have to come back down. We don't have to do anything. A lot of pattern traders get kind of messed up with this type of analysis, trying to front run an idea that doesn't exist yet. There's nothing that says that we have to come back down here. I'm not saying that it's an impossibility. I just think that it would invalidate a lot of the bullish structure that we just worked with, and it doesn't have to happen. So people are going to be looking at this, they're going to say, hey, we got a right shoulder, we got a head, and now we need we have a left shoulder, a head, and now we need our right shoulder. You don't need anything. This can just take off from here. It is, if we did come back down into this area, I would be a heavy buyer in that area. I think that that's a good spot, especially if that's correlated with any of the zones that you're looking in at the altcoins. But yeah, it doesn't have to happen. So don't let people tell you, hey, we got to form a shoulder. No, we don't have to form a shoulder. Okay, so let's take a look at Ethereum, and then we'll talk about that news. So Ethereum, you know, we're lagging in structure with Ethereum. Ethereum's not doing much at all, actually. It's broken through this line of resistance. This is very much so being carried by Bitcoin at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum kind of forms some sort of a head and shoulders pattern, just given the lack of momentum here and where it kind of looks like it wants to come down and test. There's just not a lot of volume. We're underneath the 60 line. We need to break above that 60 line and break above 4K for us to get bullish on Ethereum again. Bitcoin is the structure. Bitcoin is the one that's looking good. So let's take a look at the news story here. So this was just, you know, Anthony Pompliano. He's kind of a big deal in the space. He's really into traditional finance and works with a lot of hedge funds and is a consultant with a lot of these people from traditional finance as they're coming into cryptocurrency and stuff like that. So there is Brazil. Brazil is onboarding the Lightning Network for payments. Now they're trying to make it sound as though it's comparable to air miles. I think that's because they don't want to really rock the boat here. They don't want to make its citizens nervous about implementing a new currency, nor do they really have a big incentive to change currencies. You know, Brazil's doing okay. You know, it's not El Salvador. El Salvador had hyperinflation of their own currency. They had to become a dollarized country. They were having a lot of issues with their monetary policy and they needed some help. Brazil's not in the same sort of boat. It's not, you know, an economically, you know, flourishing country by you know, North American standards, but it's doing just fine. And I think the important takeaway to this news story here is just to the fact that Lightning Network implementation is being regulated and brought into another country. And this is important because we're taking Bitcoin, the payment system, and we're laying down the foundations of countries to be able to use the payment system with regulation in place, with infrastructure in place, and with products and applications that are easy to use. This is a very good thing. Very good thing. So I'm happy to see that Brazil is onboarding this. I'm actually going to link this if you guys are interested in watching this. I'll link it in the description, but I'll also just drop it in the chat here as well. Dropping it in the chat. Oops, 2 of them. Don't need 2, but there you go. And then that'll also be in the show notes for anybody watching the replay as well if you want to take a look at that. Okay, back into the charts. Oh, I will also drop in the Discord invite. So if you guys are interested in joining this Discord server, we have a free side, we have a paid side. There's a lot of free information on the Wyckoff method and a lot of, you know, TA cheat sheets and a lot of stuff for self-guided. If you're the type of person who doesn't need coaching, doesn't need mentorship, then you can just go check that out. But we also do mentoring and coaching as well, which if you're new to crypto, I think it's a good idea to have that sort of coaching in place. All right, so let's catch up with the chat here. Australia will be the next colony to accept Bitcoin. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Wouldn't that be fantastic? I think Australia is really flexing their ability to want to control its people, so maybe a decentralized currency isn't the best option, but who's to say that the innovations coming out of you know, certain tech hubs inside of Australia doesn't kind of adopt without permission. That's one of the beautiful things about Bitcoin is it is permissionless. So I hope that is the case because Australia is kind of losing control, especially up in Melbourne. It's kind of getting very interesting what's going on yeah, it's kind of good. It's interesting out there. Good morning, Patty. Aloha, Kahuna Organics. Yeah, pretty close. We're not far from Panama. Good guess. Chris Silcott, evening. Chris, hey. And America gets dumped on. You know, there's definitely more bulls in Asia right now, but it's not always the case, right? Koreans are very crypto friendly. They're adopting cryptocurrency. There's a lot of bullishness about cryptocurrency. And it's kind of, you know, America still has the equities. The trading day in America is equities. So if there's just so much more incentive for Americans to want to trade equities because they get the trading day. They can wake up, they can trade the market and the market closes and they can walk away and know it's great. When you're in Asia, you have to be up in the middle of the night to have a trading day. So the fact that they have access to a 24-hour market that actually moves, you know, it actually moves. It's not just Forex where you're having to use insane leverage to gain any sort of income out of that. Of course, they're going to adopt it. So yeah. Give your 2 cents on pre, por favor. Si, senor. I don't know what pre is, but let's take a look at pre. Pre-search. Okay, max supply unknown. Don't like that. Sounds like let's look for some red flags here. Search privately, receive better results, and get rewarded with preserved decentralized search engine powered by blockchain technology. Okay, so I like this on the surface. You know, having an alternative to Google is always good. The thing is with these decentralized search engines is they're not smart. You know, this is very far away from being a Google. Okay, Google has an incredible amount of innovation going into that optimizes search so that it's not just keywords. You know, back in the day, you had to literally use keywords and specific keywords, no spelling errors, no nothing, in specific orders to get the search that you in the 90s. So It's not going to be user friendly. It's going to require that you don't make spelling errors. It's going to be sensitive to case. It's going to be sensitive to placement. So you do need to take into consideration that it's going to be a more primitive product. Let's take so the idea is cool, but why do I need the token? At no point are you putting money into Google to search Google. So why do you need this token? Total supply 500,000, but the max supply is unknown. That's unusual to me. I guess that means that the contract does not have a capped max supply. I don't like that. That means it can be inflated. It also means that it can be burned, but it also, it means it can be inflated as well. For me, I think this is a little out there. Market cap's very low. Trading volume is incredibly low. Let's see where it's traded. KuCoin and Uniswap. So, early days, treated as a venture capital position. The problem with venture capital positions right now is, we're in a bull market. We're trying to convince the market that we're in a bull market. You got to follow the hype. I don't know anybody who's talking about this. And if it does catch hype, you're not going to need a very big position in this where you are right now. Don't diversify too much. I like to have big positions in quality projects. I would way rather have, a $50,000 Bitcoin position than have $51,000 shitcoin positions. That's me. That might not be you, but hey. How do I feel about stellar lumens? So the problem with, the market won't really care too much. If we are in a bull market, all assets will rise. The rising tide will raise all ships, or however that expression goes. So I think lumens is a good settlement system for cross-border communications. The problem is Lightning is doing it better. So Bitcoin is actually becoming a better stellar lumens in terms of cross-border remittance and finalized settlement. It's becoming better than Ripple for that. If it has more use cases, then sure. But if it doesn't have more use case than globalized remittance, Lightning Network is doing it better, and it's doing it cash final as well, which is going to be better for adoption. Those are the fundamentals, though. The fundamentals don't actually matter. The narratives and the hype is what really matters in a bull market. Fundamentals matter in a bear market. Hype is what matters in a bull market. So follow the narratives. Follow them on Twitter. See what they're doing. See what the community engagement is like. Carbonesque, do you give seasonality much weight? Are you referring to altcoin season or the seasons of the earth, like winter and summer? What are you talking about? Recording. Law recording. Recording. I don't know. Did I say recording? Happy Monday, Duxor. ETH never does well in Q4. I don't know about that. Let's take a look at ETH. Let's go to ETH. Let's go to a longer chart. ETH. ETH USD. Yeah, Binance has a relatively long chart. And then let's go to the three-month chart. It's the quarterly chart. Okay, so what is this? 2016, 2017, 2017, 2017, 2018. So that was a Q4 right there. Q4 for Ethereum in 2017 was 145%. 2018 was negative 43%, but that was in a bear market. January. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you're comparing the bear markets, sure. But in a bullish market, you know, we had 145% in Q4 for Ethereum in a bullish market. So if we are going to get a continuation of a bull market, then, you know, these bear market metrics aren't really going to hold a ton of weight for me. Let's go back to my FTX chart. If you guys aren't signed up on FTX, I feel sorry for you. If you guys are still trading on Binance, get your head out. Forever Young. ETH BTC, if you may, please. Sure. So many people buying resistance. Well, you know, yes, you know, because the real consolidation, the real breakout is once we get past 53, right? So, or even better still, getting above 63. Now, if you know what you're doing and you know how to, you know, manage risk with position size, if you know how to do it with the stop loss, you know, we were buying down here. I did exit here. There's ways that you can protect yourself if you know how to use a stop loss. We're at an inflection point in the market, so it requires experience. If you're new to the market and you're not using a stop loss, you're at an equal risk of gain as you are to loss at this macro inflection. So you do have to be very careful at this moment. Yeah, you know, if you're a trader that knows what you're doing and you know how to, you know, execute a stop loss and manage with size and all of that, then you should be fine. But as far as local, we're not at a resistance. We just broke past a resistance. Our next resistance will be up at 52. So there is, you know, there's a trade here. If you bought the breakout, you know, you got basically a 10% move, 9% move in Bitcoin before you hit that resistance. There's no resistance between here to here. Will you as a Canadian have problems with non-US approved exchanges? No, I will not. Not as it stands right now. There may be, you know, problems down the road, as Canada typically does follow policy with the US, as it's our largest trading partner. But as it stands right now, I have full access to, you know, American. I'm out of the reaches. I'm out of the protection of the SEE. Not allowed in the States. You can use ftx.us, which is allowed, and they do have a similar offering to Coinbase with lower fees. But what I like about FTX is you can place all the orders right on. So let's say you have a stop loss on FTX, you're looking at a chart and it's just like, okay, well, I want my stop loss here, and you just drag it up and that's an order. I love it. It's the only exchange I know where you can actually have lines on the chart and move it for your trading plan. So it's one of the biggest things that I love about FTX is just, I'm a visual guy. I like to look at the chart and move stuff, not based on prices, but based on structure. That's how I trade, is I use structure to interpret the charts. Every time I set a stop loss, I get whipsawed. So try this. Well, try two things. First of all, you have to buy dips. You have to buy the scary stuff, the fear. That's the best place to get into a position that can hold a stop loss. If you're buying breakout trades, you need a very healthy stop loss. So the way that you mitigate risk, let's say you have, you know, a typical sized position, but you always get stopped out. What you're going to do is you're going to cut your position size in half, and you're going to double your stop loss. Yes, it gives you a smaller size, but you can always scale in higher. But it gives you a better entry because you're not going to get stopped out. If you're consistently getting stopped out, cut your position size in half and double your stop. It's the same amount of risk, the exact same amount of risk, okay? But it's going to give you a better opportunity to hold on to that trade. So consider doing that, and you can always scale in. Let's say Solana, or I wanted to short Bitcoin. I don't actually have to do a contract to do that. I can just overdraft my spot holdings, so it shows up in my wallet as a negative balance, and I owe Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes down in price, I need to pay back the Bitcoin with less money. It's for professionals. If you're a professional, if you want to take trading seriously and you want to have options to, if you want to have all of the orders that you need to be a professional trader, links down below. Sign up for FTX, support the channel. It's very easy. It's one of the easiest things. I give you a discount on fees. You give me some of your trading fees, and it's a great way to help support the channel. FTX is dope. Another thing that FTX has that Binance doesn't have, Binance has limit stops. So it's going to give you the option to set a stop loss. So if you've ever been on Binance and you've had your stop loss skipped because your limit order didn't get filled and it just tanked on you, the reason that happened is because Binance only sets limit stops. FTX has market stops. So if it hits your trigger price, you sell out at market. I've never missed a stop loss. I've never had a skip stop loss on FTX. I've had a few. When you're in those kind of illiquid shit coins on Binance, you have a high probability if you don't include a spread to get stopped out or get your stop loss skipped rather, and you're not stopped out. No, Binance has limit stops. FTX has limit stops and market stops. Binance only has limit stops. Limit stops can be skipped, okay? Binance doesn't have the option for a market stop. FTX has market stops and limit stops. I always use market stops because if I want to be out of the trade, I want to be out of the trade. Omi, ready for the move. I was actually looking at Omi last night. Haven't heard about it in a while. It's one of those deflationary fucking bonding curve questionable projects, and I'm kind of digging with the bonding curve and how price is being manipulated in cryptocurrency. So we can take a look at Omi. Oh, with an IP address in the US, I get messages not available. Interesting. Could talk about Chainlink and ETH? Yes. Let's first talk about a shitcoin though. Let's take a look at Omi. And that's not, guys, like I say everything's a shitcoin, don't worry about it. It's more than ready, it's moving. So, you know, it's kind of, let's go down to some smaller time frames. Let's see what this last consolidation looked like. Very healthy, tight consolidation. Here's the thing to note about these deflationary currencies though. For me, deflationary currencies are not going to be a long-term hold. And it's just because of the fact that if you don't know how a bonding curve works, it's actually pretty scammy. In normal markets, how a bonding curve works, or sorry, in normal markets, how price discovery works is you have an order book. You need a buyer to be matched with a seller. That's it. End of story. No discussion. That's how everything in this world has ever been decided on price, is by matching a buyer with a seller. If you don't have a buyer and a seller, you don't have a new price. What bonding curves do is they allow you to manipulate the supply to affect price. And that's bullshit, because that means that the team can affect the price. The team can implement policy into the bonding curve so that they can burn tokens. And when they burn tokens, it actually makes the price go up. That's bullshit. That's fake. That's not a real market. Okay? When you do burning of tokens, it's up to the market participants to decide what the value of a smaller supply is. It's not up to the creator to decide. It's up to the market to decide. Order books are the most fair and true way to decide upon price, and bonding curves are new technology that have been invented to basically create algorithmically pegged stablecoins, but they've taken that technology and they've applied it to crypto projects. And I don't really agree with it. So for me, you know, any project that's discovering price off of a bonding curve is not something that I would be holding long term. But Omi's breaking out. Omi's ready for markup. The upside to a bonding curve is it can go up in price relatively aggressively. So because we're in markup on Omi, this is a bullish breakout. We could be looking for an entry on some sort of a test. It's going to have to dictate with what's going on with the market as a whole. Bitcoin is looking like it wants to break out. It's really not, you know, melting any faces or anything, but it's breaking out of a consolidation, so we want to get above that and see how that plays out. So keep an eye on this. If this is one that you're looking to buy, I'd be a buyer down in this general area right here. If it was an asset I was looking to purchase anywhere in this kind of zone, I'd call that a buy zone. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I thought I saved that template. Oh well, somewhere down in here would be the buy zone. But note, we are very overbought at the moment, so maybe a retest back down to the 60 line of the RSI would be a nice area to scoop some up. You can see how we have some confluence here, right here. Let's make that nice and bright and bold. Let's actually make it yellow. So if we can get a test back down to here, that would indicate that momentum is here, and if we can hold a test on the 60, then it'll probably turn around, especially if that correlates with finding support in the buy zone. That'd be good. Any news on Sam or Rick? Sam or Rick? I don't know who those are, so no. Travala? Yeah, we can take a look at Travala. But I did get a more sensible request to take a look at, talk about Chainlink and ETH. Oh yeah, and ETH BTC. ETH BTC. So why would we be looking at the Bitcoin pair of Ethereum? Because this is how you compare if Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, which it's not currently. On the macro, it's looking decent. If we could get a test back down to here, that would be lovely. That would kind of build this case that we have a pennant forming, or we could turn around from here. Ethereum is just kind of lagging. I don't know what it is with the market not wanting Ethereum. We need some more bullish narratives built around Ethereum because the market just really doesn't care. Solana is stealing a lot of the show in terms of innovation when compared to Ethereum. NFTs are extremely hot, and most of the people are going to Solana for NFTs because it's just so much cheaper to process these complex transactions. ETH needs some help. ETH needs some help. So it's in a downtrend against Bitcoin. I think, Bitcoin will certainly drag it up in its USD comparative. And then if we can break past 0.08 BTC per ETH, that's a macro resistance, and we could probably see Ethereum begin to heat up. But it's certainly not showing me that it's just ready to go right now. We did break through this resistance. We got a nice move, but it's given it all back. It's given the whole move back. So yeah, Ethereum is lagging. It's lagging, but it's fundamentally sound. So it's one of the best projects in crypto, in my opinion, and some of the longer stays, some of the bigger projects that think long term, we're working with Ethereum. Ethereum has incredibly bad gas fees. Okay, we know that. It's not news. It's something that's well known, okay? But it doesn't necessarily matter because it's a short-term problem. There's going to be Ethereum scaling. We're seeing it more. We have several legitimate layer 2s now. Yeah, Visa is building on Ethereum. Now, they're not going to implement their product until we have consistent, very good layer 2s, and Visa will probably build on a layer 2. But we have Arbitrum, and we have optimistic rollups. We're working on ZK rollups, which is kind of like the magic pill of consensus in terms of Ethereum scaling, is getting these zero knowledge proof scaling solutions implemented. But we have a lot of optimistic proofs that are becoming more and more used. Immutable X is another optimistic rollup that is gaining in popularity. So we are building this layer 2 infrastructure. It's just it's crypto's hard enough. Crypto's hard enough for users. So the users aren't going there, and the whales don't care because to them it's all based in ETH. So even though the ETH fee seems expensive to you, to them it's been the same. It's just, oh yeah, the price of ETH is higher, so the gas is higher in dollars, but to them they're ETH whales. holding thousands and thousands of ETH, and they're flipping for more on the NFT marketplaces. So we do need adoption. People need to go to layer 2 for this to really kind of heat up. Ethereum 2.0 is going to help a lot, but when 2.0? Anyways, it's looking, we're coiling, okay? We're making a lower high, we've got higher lows. As long as we can continue this consolidation and develop more of a squeeze, it's looking good for Ethereum. So that's basically ETH. ETH on the US dollar pair, you know, we're seeing that same sort of thing. It's just lackluster, it's lagging in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a lot more attention than Ethereum. Let's take a look at Chainlink. Chainlink, I don't know a ton about Chainlink. I know what Chainlink does, but I don't know why you need to buy Chainlink. I know that Chainlink offers, you know, it brings real world data into the blockchain, into DeFi, and it's a very important thing that Chainlink does, but it's lagging. Its structure is really lagging, and I think this has something to do with the fact that, you know, the market isn't convinced why they need to buy it. And that's kind of, you know, I don't know. I just don't know why you need to buy Chainlink. You don't need that much Chainlink. I think you need to stake it for you to run a node, and then the nodes bring the data. But there's no purpose for a retail investor to be forced to buy Chainlink. Retail isn't, you know, buying Chainlink so that they are able to bring real world data into the blockchain, because there's no incentive for retail to do that. To kind of further explain this concept, if I want to buy an Ethereum NFT, I need Ethereum. If I want to buy a Solana NFT, I need Solana. If I want real world information to go into the blockchain, if I want that, I need to run a Chainlink node, and I need to buy Chainlink and set up a node. You see what I mean? Like, there's no retail, nobody's gonna force the hand of retail to buy Chainlink outside of speculation and price action. So it may lag. It may lag given that the incentive for retail to buy is so lackluster. So, you know, it's not to say that we can't, you know, it's in an accumulation. We can see serious demand come to Chainlink from developers when there's more infrastructure built on DeFi. You know, we need Chainlink to bring that data in. But, you know, there's no reason for retail to buy it. So I think that's why it's kind of a market lagger at this point. As a US citizen in another country, would I be restricted? If you are trying to gain access to a US restricted exchange, you'll be able, the website will work for you in a different country, and you will be able to set up an account. But when it comes time for you to do KYC, you need to provide identification. And when the identification that you have is American, then you won't be able to withdraw or trade on that account. So no. There's not many options, but if it makes you feel any better, you don't need leverage. You don't need every altcoin under the sun. This is a very innovative space, and there's high quality projects available to you, period. You can go to Coinbase and you can get high quality projects. You can go to Kraken, Bitfinex, FTX.us. You can go Binance.us. You can go to these exchanges and you can buy high quality projects that, if you know how to trade, can make you a lot of money. So a lot of Americans get really hung up on the fact that I don't have leverage. I can't use leverage. I can't do this. I can't do that. You know, that might be a good thing. You might not be a good enough trader to use leverage. Leverage is usually for those traders who have been trading for in excess of 5 years. And I'm being conservative saying that. And that's more so for crypto traders that see market cycles more often than traditional finance. You're considered fresh meat for 10 years. So until you've been trading for 10 years, you shouldn't be using leverage to begin with. So, you know, it might be a good thing that Americans are restricted. Is it a free market? Do I agree with it? Should you have the right to do what you want to do? Yes. I'm not saying that. I think that you have the right to make your own decisions. You're a big boy. You shouldn't have protection. But, you know, I also think that you don't need leverage. I also think that you have plenty of good offerings at American exchanges. Take a look at Theta. Yeah, Polkadot isn't performing well much. That's because kind of Kusama stole the show. Kusama's their testnet. There was much more innovation going on Kusama. But if there was bullish follow through on Kusama, then why would it not come to Polkadot? Polkadot, its structure is looking a little distributional. I don't like how this is looking, so I wouldn't be surprised for us to come back down and test some lower levels, possibly maybe the midline of this trading range. But I think that there's a pretty bull case for Polkadot in general. I think as long as we're above 25 bucks, Polkadot is bullish. So, you know, it does need to break out though. We're kind of have a little bit of a megaphone, but it's kind of losing structure in the wrong spots. It's definitely a lagger. It's definitely a lagger. You know, structurally speaking, Bitcoin is doing more. And I think, you know what, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. BTC.D. Yeah, we're rallying in Bitcoin dominance. We don't have altcoin season until we're below this level, okay? Until Bitcoin dominance is down here, there's no altcoin season. Altcoin season. When this is down here, that's altcoin season. We're not there yet. We need to break down into this box. When we break down into this box, then it's game time. Then it's altcoin season. But as it stands right now, we're consolidating. The market is at an inflection point. We're trying to decide upon a direction. Bitcoin looks like it wants to rally. It's, you know, we're not in altcoin season. We're at the best, you get random projects that have strong fundamentals that have been in accumulation that pump like 100%. Or you just have random coins that pump like Shiba Inu, which is another fucking scam coin out there. Oops. You know, it's called popcorn season. You can't really predict it. It's random. It just does what it does. Once we're below 40% in Bitcoin dominance, you're really going to see altcoins rip. This is an altcoin season, okay? This price action right here, this action in this chart is what sucks everybody in. This is when all the new users pile in, okay? When you have a dumping of Bitcoin dominance, this is altcoin season. We are here, right? We need to start dumping down. When we dump down, boom, that's when everything goes. You just gotta be patient. We can't force anything. We're at the mercy of the market. Bitcoin pumping. Is it pumping? It's moving, baby. I'm on too high of a time frame to get excited. Let's go down to something that's really gonna get me fired up. Let's go down to the 5 minute. If you want to increase your emotion, this is all you do. You scroll into the 5 minute and you just zoom right in. And it just fucking rattles you. I love it. Oh no, we're dumping. We're not gonna make it. Oh no. Oh no, we're dumping. Oh no, we're pumping. Are we pumping or dumping? Not ready for leverage, just don't like constraints. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. And as DeFi develops, as these decentralized offerings become more developed and more similar to centralized offerings, we're gonna see a lot of people just choosing the decentralized option. So the infrastructure is in its infancy. We're trying to create a better peer-to-peer trading network. It just, you know, it hasn't happened yet. So we're getting there. We're getting there. I think by the bottom of the next bear market, crypto is going to be so far advanced. We're going to be so just ready. And the next bull market will be completely fueled by use case and commercial adoption and user adoption. It's not going to be about, trading these things for money anymore. It's going to be about, look at how competitive my company becomes when I adopt this technology. That's what made the internet special. That's what made the dot-com boom so special, is the ability for a company to open up a business worldwide. So that was a huge competitive edge back in the dot-com boom. When blockchain becomes mainstream, you're going to be saving on fees. You're going to have, borderless transactions. So you open your business up to more countries in the world. There's going to be a lot of bullish reasons as to why your company will have a competitive edge for adopting this technology. Adoption takes time. People don't like change. I mean, how many of you have been wanting to change from Binance to another exchange like FTX? People don't like change. I bang my drum over here saying get on FTX for months and months, and it doesn't mean anything, people don't change, myself included. It took me a long time to get off Binance and go to FTX. People hate change. Adoption takes time. The tech will be there when you're ready. Do I see DXY as bearish right now? Very good chart to take a look at. Let's take a look at the DXY. So there's a very interesting divergence occurring right now with traditional markets and crypto. Traditional markets are kind of dumping a little bit. Actually, let's pull up a few. No. Let's just go to the 3-day here. Now the DXY, for those who don't know, it's the dollar currency index. It's the index of the US dollar compared against a basket of global currencies. So it's basically the health of the dollar compared to other countries. We're kind of threatening to rally here. If we rally in the DXY, what that's going to mean from a global perspective is that's going to mean that companies are either failing, or companies are wanting to de-risk, or hedge funds are wanting to de-risk, and they're going to retreat to dollars and they're going to buy dollars. The buying pressure of the dollars is going to increase. What that means is economic uncertainty and wanting to take a safe haven position. There's a lot of people out there that think that, why would you retreat to the dollar when it's just being inflated to zero? Assets falling in price will always exceed an inflated currency until we hit like hyper, inflation, in which case Bitcoin will be pumping. It's just part of the narrative. Cash will fall less than assets will fall. So if we break past this point, it's not going to be good. It's going to really affect traditional markets. And historically, when the DXY is rallying, it's also correlated with what's going on with Bitcoin. So when the DXY is falling, Bitcoin is in a rally. When the DXY is going up, Bitcoin is in a bear market. Now, that's also correlated with what's going on in traditional finance. So if I'm to take the bullish point of view, which could be hopium, and we have to take it with a grain of salt, but we have to explore all possibilities and give them a probability. Bitcoin is not as affected as the traditional markets currently. I mean, we're seeing a rally in Bitcoin while traditional markets are kind of have a ton of fear and experiencing, not crazy sell-offs, but there's sell-offs. Now, if that continues, that's an incredibly bullish case for crypto, but I just can't bring myself to think that that's going to be realistic. I don't see a realistic outcome where a highly speculative market like cryptocurrency is rallying in the face of economic despair. And that's just the facts, okay? I don't see how we can rally in the face of economic despair. I just don't see it. So even though we're rallying now, I don't think that'll be, I don't think that that's going to carry through. So if we break past this neckline of this inverse head and shoulders and begin to rally to the top of the channel here, it's not going to look good. So yeah, I would say it's the DXY is bullish, which is bearish for most things. Do you think the fact that we don't need BTC to get alts like back in 2017, 2018 makes BTC not performing like 2017 and less money going to BTC and more into alt markets? So, 2017, 2018, there was no access for traditional finance. Traditional finance is not buying your shitcoin. Don't let anybody tell you that they are. They're not. Traditional finance is going to gain exposure to cryptocurrency through Bitcoin. So in the case that we don't need Bitcoin to trade altcoins, yes, huge source of demand is gone. But it doesn't mean that people aren't going to FOMO into Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the largest cryptocurrency. It's the one that gets the most media attention. It's the one that makes it into the mainstream media. It's the one that, Ma and Pa are going to go ahead and buy. So I do think that there will be a demand force for Bitcoin. And for your altcoin to survive, or for your altcoin to move up in value, that has to happen. So if Bitcoin doesn't rally, I don't see your altcoin rallying either, because we are very correlated with Bitcoin currently. So if Bitcoin's not rallying, we don't have an altcoin season. We don't have a cryptocurrency market. And if we kind of have the DXY begin to rally here and the market becomes shaky, then we're in a bear market, and we'll turn around and we'll consolidate for a while, considering, we don't know how long. It will have to depend on what happens on the world stage. So yes, we don't have the same demand forces going towards Bitcoin. But if we don't choose to trade those pairs, or if retail just doesn't trade those pairs and Bitcoin doesn't move, there's going to be a lot of profit taking in the altcoins as well, and you're not going to see your altcoin do incredible things, or it's not going to be as predictable. Are you securing your domain on Unstoppable Domains? I have a few of them. Yes, people show more interest towards alts than Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has a big environment of network effect adoption. I mean, Twitter is now using the Lightning Network to transfer payments. That's a big deal. A lot of countries are onboarding Bitcoin, the payment network, for global remittance. That's a big deal. Global remittance is a huge business. I don't have the number, but I can tell you it's in the trillions. But it does so much more than global remittance. It does store of value. There are people who trade the Bitcoin pair, not because they're forced to, but because they want to. They don't want to compare their altcoin performance against the dollar, which is in theory losing value. So I do think that we're not there yet. We're not decoupled. I do think that we one day will be decoupled, and Bitcoin will be the currency of cryptocurrency, and the altcoins will be the stock market of cryptocurrency. And that's going to be, the place where people speculate and make money. And then once they've made money, they shift it into Bitcoin. But we're not there yet. First time viewer, Anus. Oh, cool. Thanks for stopping by. All right, what are we doing for time? I am out of time. We got time for one more. What did we get? We got a request from... Let's actually just take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Hey, we're pumping. 49. You think we're going to break 50 today? I have a feeling we're going to break 50 today. If we can break 50, I really want to see us break 52. Even just a wick. Just a wick past 52.7. Ooh, that'd be nice. That would be nice. Doesn't have to happen, but that would be nice. Can you explain why the market would be so obvious this time we pump while 9/10 of it is manipulation? We're in a free market. We're in the freest market that's ever existed. It's a small market and whales can move it, but 9/10 is not manipulated. There is manipulation in a lot of these shitty altcoins that, manipulate the bonding curve. And if you don't know how a bonding curve works, I'm not about to sit here and explain it, but go figure out how a bonding curve works. That's manipulation. Bitcoin is a free asset. We're in a free market with a free asset. And what comes with a free market is big players can influence the market, but we're not 9/10 manipulated. No, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And it's one of the few markets that is, free. Alphanumerics when Lambo. I think by my calculations, we'll have a Lambo in 6 days? 7 days. 7 days Lambo. Yeah, 7 days. All right, so let's take a look at EGLD on the 4 hour. Very specific request, but I'm not actually going to do the 4 hour. So EGLD is kind of already in a rally action. It's becoming hard to become a participant, meaning that the risk is increasing at this point. You know that your key entry was down here where I had the line at 118. So if you could get a retest back down to, let's say, 200, something like that, that'd be great. Or if we begin to really break out here, let's go to the 4 hour. Yeah, I can see how people are getting excited. So we broke out, but see how the structure is just kind of lackluster? See how the volume is kind of falling overall? The market's not ready yet. So the move isn't ready to happen just yet. So with this breakout, we'll probably get a adjustment and it will be a new resistance line. That's how I would play this, is I would just carry my resistance back up. If we break above that, then we've got more of a bullish case. But as it stands right now, the demand is too low. So I would just keep it like that and see if we can get a break past that level. Yeah. That's how I'd handle that. Okay, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go to the virtual classroom. If you guys are interested in joining the Traders Academy, learn how to trade, learn how to DeFi, learn how to interpret charts, learn how to identify market cycles, and just have a team of mentors to draw their knowledge upon. You also get access to the alphanumerics indicator. Shout out to alphanumerics who's watching the stream today, which shows you some of the best times to buy and sell Bitcoin. I'll actually give you a quick little preview of that indicator. For those that don't want to do a ton of homework and just want to follow something relatively easy to follow, we can go to the alphanumerics indicator here and show you its performance. Basically on the 3-day, we'll go to the alphanumerics and we'll highlight the EMA crosses. And basically when it tells you when to go long and it tells you when to go bullish and when to go bearish. And the last good signal we got, or the last big signal we got, gave you a price appreciation of 550%. And then we just got one that has initiated just now and has yet to cross bearish. We actually just narrowly missed the cross on the 3-day here. So it's looking good. We got the green wave. As far as this indicator is concerned, we are bullish for the moment. So looking good. Shout out to alphanumerics. If you guys are interested in getting your hands on this indicator, this is fully alertable as well. So if you just want alerts on your phone to tell you when to buy and when to sell, join the links down below. If you sign up with FTX, you get a free month. So sign up for FTX, come into the Discord, let me know your user ID number. I'll verify that you signed up under my link and you get a free month to the group. Very easy, very quick. And if you can't use Binance, if you can't use FTX because you're American, then just, we have coupon code WELCOME, which is 50% off. So that is all the time I have for today. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if there are any projects that you would like me to take a look at, leave them in the comment section down below. And until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.